Hello, guys. So let's continue with our third chapter, that is directing and controlling at supervisory level. Okay. So the first topic is elaborating decisions. Okay. So what happens sometimes, every time, every member of an organization doesn't know the reasons for a particular decision that is taken by the higher levels. Okay. So many subordinates are not aware of these reasons that are taken by higher management, so there can be a confusion. So decisions must be properly elaborated, and in every case there's no need to explain and elaborate the decision. They can be private decisions. Okay. So sometimes there is a need to elaborate the decisions, whereas sometimes it's not necessary to elaborate the decisions. Okay. Now we'll see why there's a need to elaborate the decisions. Basically, it can create awareness about the decisions. It can emphasize the policies of the management. Then it can avoid the confusion. It can also restrict the gossipings among the lower levels in the organization. It provides better clarity about the future work, and also it helps to understand the duties and responsibility regarding those decisions. Okay. So that is why there is a need to elaborate the decision. Okay. Now we'll see different ways to elaborate those decisions. Okay. So basically, it can be elaborated by a written document, by conducting a meeting, or by counseling. So these are three ways the decisions can be elaborated, either by a written document, or by conducting the meetings, or by counseling. Okay. So basically, now we'll see which kind of decisions are needed to be elaborated. Okay. So first are the uniform decisions, then extended time hours, why the time is extended, then the bonus and benefits that are given, then schedule changes, transfer, need of training. Okay. So these kind of decisions, they need to be elaborated. That is, there should be an explanation why these decisions are taken. Okay. Next is we'll see disciplinary standards that are maintained in overall working environment. Okay. So laying disciplinary standards in overall working environment. Okay. First is importance. Why it's important to maintain this disciplinary standards. There will be quality in work performance. Time factor will always be followed if there are standards. Work standardization gets improved and the losses are reduced. So these are the four major reasons why it is important to maintain disciplinary standards. Next, we'll see what are different ways in laying those disciplinary standards. First is policy decisions in discipline, then disciplinary action, seriousness in following those disciplines, training for the discipline, awards to disciplined practices, punishment to non-disciplined employees, time in, time out, on time, before time, everything must be recorded. Quality, and there should be zero error for the employees. Then behavior, there should be controlled emotions and sober nature while working in the organization. So these are basic disciplinary standards every employee should maintain while working in an organization. Okay. Okay. So next topic is basically managerial control. That is how understanding how a manager or a supervisor is able to understand its team and what are the links between various departments in respect of process and quality standards. Okay. So first topic is understanding teams. Okay, so basically supervisor is responsible, that is he must know every aspect of his team. Okay, that is what is meant to be understand by a team. Okay, by a of a team by the supervisor is given over there. First is how many team members are there. Then what is speciality of each of the team member in work process. Then speciality of a team, expertise of a team, positive points of team members. What are limitation of a particular team member? Key person, that is leader in a team, requirements of the team and challenges in front of them. This should be understood by the supervisor first. Okay. Then is why understanding team is needed. Why understanding team is needed by supervisor? Basically to control the activities of the team, to assign a team and work, then to find where the team members need support, then to increase or decrease the size of the team as per the needs, then to impart training to the team members, to utilize team members effectively, to motivate the team, to satisfy needs of the team, to restrict team members to do the work which is not in their area of competency. So basically, that is why understanding of the team is needed. Okay. Next, we'll see benefits of the supervisor. Supervisor can take basically perfect decisions, then he can control the work as possible. Deviation in the work can be located by the supervisor, and supervisor has the clarity about his team, so the chances of errors are less. Okay, so these are basically benefits of similar. That is why understanding of the team is needed. Okay, second is next topic is link between various departments in respect of process and quality standards. Okay, we'll see that. Okay, basically, a supervisor must know the link between various departments on production, then all-time employees that are working under him, then partial, that is all-time employees, then supervisor can have a dynamic linking relationship with other departments like maintenance, inventory, store, purchase, quality control, design, HR, dispatch. So basically, the supervisor must know that his department is linked with all other departments and what are the functional departments that will help him achieve the standards in process and quality. The supervisor must know what is linked between departments in respect to what work he has to do in a project. Okay. So first of all, we'll see link with maintenance department. Okay. Why link with maintenance department is to be maintained basically for intimation of breakdown, prior communication regarding visit before any breakdown or repair, then smooth and systematic frequency of periodic routine maintenance to avoid production stoppage. This link proactively is necessary. So that is why, for these reasons, a supervisor must maintain a link with maintenance department. Now we'll see link with stores and inventory department. Okay. So to basically get the material in time, to take off the material that is already done in time, to get the tools, equipments, accessories without delays, to have smooth production, to avoid accumulation of material on shop floor. That is why the link with stores and inventory is needed, okay, by the supervisor. Next point is we'll see link with quality control, okay. Basically, this will maintain standard quality control as per the specified. It will avoid large scale mistakes due to in time estimation, to check the material from raw to finished level, to rectify and correct the ongoing mistakes, to restrict the errors, to find the errors. The link, there should be a supervisor must maintain a link with quality control department, okay. So, such linking will work by supervisor or manager that helps to achieve better quality standards and to control the operations. Okay. Now we'll see advantages of such maintaining such links. Okay. So basically, there's no production stoppage, stoppage. That is, the production is not going to stop. It is going to continue. There will be smooth operations among the organization. The quality of production will be improved. Then the controlled production will be in control. Then there's no need to rework. There is no misunderstanding, and closed loop type of communication will be maintained. And there will be coordinated efforts among various departments present in the organization. So these are basically advantages of working, understanding the team and linking various departments with respect to process and quality standards by the supervisor. Okay. Now next we are going to see what are the steps in control process. Okay. Okay. So basically, there are 5 steps for controlling the process. First is setting performance standard. Second is measure of actual performance. Third is comparing actual performance with standard performance. Fourth is analyzing the deviations. That is, what are deviations? And fifth is taking corrective action. Okay. Now we'll study all those steps in detail one by one. Okay. So first is setting performance standard. Okay. So the basically first step in the process of controlling is concerned with setting the performance standard. What exactly is a standard performance that a team should achieve? Okay. Then basically a benchmark should be set. Okay. So we'll see some examples of such quantitative. There are two types of standards: quantitative standards and qualitative standards, both in qualitative terms and quantitative terms. First, we'll see examples of quantitative standards. Okay. So what revenue is to be earned, units that are to be produced and sold, cost that is to be incurred, time that is to be spent on performing that particular task, and amount of inventory is to be maintained. These basically comes in quantitative standards. Okay. So these standards are first needed to be set before starting any project. Okay. So these are your base standards, okay, that are to be achieved. Then we'll see the qualitative standards. Basically, it comes motivation, how to improve the motivation level of the employee, how to improve the labor relationship between the employees. Then the quality, improve the quality of products, as well as how to improve the goodwill of the employees learning in the organization. So all this basically comes under qualitative standards, okay. So basically, in order to facilitate easy comparison of actual performance with standard, a manager or a supervisor should try to set these standards in both qualitative terms as far as possible and quantitative terms as far as possible. Okay. Next is measurement of actual performance. Now, the supervisor has to measure the actual performance for controlling. Okay. So basically, once the standards have been determined, the next step is to measure the actual performance. There are various techniques used for measuring the standard performance, like sample checking, performance report, personal observation. Okay. So in order to facilitate easy comparison, the performance should be measured on same basis that the standards have. Okay. So following are given some ways of measuring the performance. So basically, superior prepares a report regarding the performance of an employee. Various ratios like gross profit ratio, debtor turnover ratio, return on investment, current ratios are calculated as periodic intervals to measure the performance of the company. Then progress made in areas like marketing can be measured by considering number of units, increase in market share. Okay. Then basically in small organization, each unit produced can be checked personally to ensure the quality standards. And in large organization, the techniques of sample checking is used. Under this technique, some pieces are checked at random for quality specification. Okay, so these are the some of the ways for measuring the performance. So once a measure is performed, measure performance is actually measured. The performance is actually measured. Then we are going to compare the actual performance then with the standard performance. Okay. Okay, comparing actual performance with standards. Okay, so for example, performance of a salesman in terms of units sold in a week can be easily measured against the standard output of the week. So basically, next step is comparing actual performance with standard. Next is the fourth step. The fourth step is to analyzing what are differences between actual performance and the standard performance. Okay, so some deviations are possible in all the activities. However, deviation in important areas of business need to be corrected urgently. Okay, and management should consider this deviation and make the proper changes, take the corrective actions to match the actual performance with the standard performance. Okay. So basically, there are critical point control and management by exceptions in analyzing the deviation. Okay. So basically, we'll see what is critical point control. So since it is necessary, it is neither easy or economical to check each and every activity in the organization. The control focus is on key result area which act as a critical point. Okay, so key result area is very essential for a successful organization. So it should check, okay, it should check the key research area, okay, that is critical point control. Then management by exception. Management by exception or control by exception is important principle of management. So basically, according to principle, attempt to control everything results in controlling nothing. Thus, only some of the important deviations which are exceeded beyond the prescribed limit should be noticed by the management and should be corrected by the management. Okay, because all possible deviations cannot be controlled, so the important deviation must be controlled. Okay, so these are called as critical point control and management by exception. This comes in analyzing the deviation. Next is taking corrective actions. Okay, so basically, the last step in the process of controlling involves taking corrective actions. If the deviations are within the acceptable limits, so then no correction is required. But if their deviation exceed upon the acceptable limits, they should be immediately brought to the notice of management, and the corrective actions by the management should be taken in urgent basis. Okay. So now we'll see basically the causes of deviation and corrective actions that are to be taken. Okay, first cause of deviation is obstacle machinery. Corrective action is technology upgradation of the machinery. Second is defective process. And its corrective action is change the specification standard for the manufacturing process. Then third is defective physical condition of work. Then improvement in physical conditions of work should be done. Fifth is defective machinery. Then corrective action is repair the existing machine or purchase new machine if we cannot if we cannot repair it. Okay. So these are basically the corrective actions that are to be taken. Okay. So I hope all these topics are clear to you all. Okay. If you have any doubt in the topic, we can discuss it on Wednesday's lecture. In Wednesday's lecture. Okay. One last topic is left that we'll discuss in next video. Okay. Third chapter, the last topic is left. We'll discuss it in next video. Okay.